Penguin Random House presents Aurangzeb, The Man and the Myth by Audrey Trushcke. Read by Dilshad Khurana. Preface and Acknowledgements. This book began with a Twitter message asking if I wanted to write an accessible biography on one of the Mughal kings. The discussion quickly migrated to email, and I settled on Aurangzeb Alamgir as the subject. That this book was first formulated via social media is appropriate because the Aurangzeb fever that has gripped modern India often surfaces most virulently on platforms such as Twitter and Facebook. In this short biography, I address Aurangzeb's vibrant, ongoing presence in popular culture. From a historian's point of view, however, Aurangzeb is first and foremost a Mughal king, about whom people know lamentably little. This book is an attempt to introduce the historical Aurangzeb, in all of his complexity, to a wide readership. For the sake of narrative flow and ease of reading, the text is presented without footnotes. It is already difficult to get at Aurangzeb's life and ruling strategies, and notes would have posed yet another obstacle. Readers who want to know my sources will find the information in the bibliographical essay and notes. The postscript will interest those who desire to learn more about how historians think about the past and analyze pre-modern sources. I owe many debts of gratitude in writing this short book. I profusely thank my many colleagues who shared unpublished work, assisted with images, and read earlier drafts of the manuscript. All opinions, arguments, and errors in the book are mine alone. Writing about Aurangzeb, one of the most hated men in Indian history, is no light decision, and I owe a special acknowledgement in this record. My heartfelt gratitude to those who advised me to write the book when I wavered about whether to do so. You know who you are, and I'm much obliged. Chapter 1. Introducing Aurangzeb. Unforgettable Aurangzeb. I came as a stranger, and I leave as a stranger. Aurangzeb, letter written on the verge of death. When the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb looked back at his life in 1707, at the ripe age of 88, he saw failure. From his deathbed, Aurangzeb penned several poignant letters to his sons, voicing his gravest fears, including that God would punish his impiety. But most of all, he lamented his flaws as a king. To his youngest son, Kambaksh, he expressed anxiety that his officers and army would be ill-treated after his death. To his third son, Azam Shah, he admitted deeper doubts. I entirely lacked in rulership and protecting the people. My precious life has passed in vain. God is here, but my dimmed eyes do not see his splendor. Aurangzeb ruled for 49 years over a population of 150 million people. He expanded the Mughal Empire to its greatest extent, subsuming most of the Indian subcontinent under a single imperial power for the first time in human history. He made lasting contributions to the interpretation and exercise of legal codes and was renowned by people of all backgrounds and religious stripes for his justice. He was quite possibly the richest man of his day and boasted a treasury overflowing with gems, pearls, and gold, including the spectacular Kohinoor diamond. But these accomplishments failed to assuage his angst about his political deficiencies in his final days. To both Azam Shah and Kambaksh, Aurangzeb also confessed his religious shortcomings and the bitter divine judgment he believed he would soon face. A devout Muslim, he thought that he had chosen isolation from God, both in this life and the next. And while he came into the world unburdened, he flinched at the idea of entering the afterlife saddened with the weight of his sins. He ended his final letter to Azam with an evocative, lingering flourish, pronouncing his farewell thrice. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Aurangzeb exited this world more than 300 years ago, in the winter of 1707. He was buried in a simple open-air grave in Khuldabad, Maharashtra. In contrast to Humayun's imposing tomb of red sandstone in Delhi, or Shah Jahan's lavish resting place at the magnificent Taj Mahal in Agra, Aurangzeb's grave made no demand that he be remembered. In accordance with Aurangzeb's wishes, the tomb was plain and unmarked, located within a Sufi shrine. Over the centuries, marble floors were added, as well as a marble railing and an identifying plaque. Even with these embellishments, however, the modesty of Aurangzeb's tomb issues a strong contrast to the massive blocks of stone that boldly proclaim the burial sites and earthly legacies of his predecessors. Aurangzeb may have been content to be forgotten, but the world is not ready to let him go. Aurangzeb lives on as a vibrant figure in public memory in 21st century India and Pakistan. In India, people hotly debate his reign and often condemn him as a vile oppressor of Hindus. Whereas Aurangzeb questioned his legacy, many Indians today have no doubt that he was a zealous bigot who ruled by the sword and left behind a trail of Hindu tears. Recent political attempts to erase Aurangzeb from the face of modern India, such as by renaming Aurangzeb Road in Delhi, have injected new life into debates about this emperor and India's Islamic past. In nearby Pakistan, Aurangzeb fares only slightly better. Some follow the Indian line that Aurangzeb was a straight-up bigot, whereas others view him as one of the few truly righteous Muslim rulers of old. Precious little history surfaces in these modern visions. Rather, as misinformation and condemnations of Aurangzeb swirl about the 21st century South Asia, the man himself remains an enigma. Aurangzeb was the sixth ruler of the Mughal Empire, a polity of vast proportions. Although the world outside of the subcontinent rarely recalls the Mughals today, in their time they were a subject of intense fascination and awe. By 1600, the population of the Mughal kingdom outstripped the entirety of Europe, and Mughal wealth was unmatched in the world. Aurangzeb rose to power in 1658, in the midst of a bloody war of succession that left two of his brothers dead, a third exiled in Burma, and his father imprisoned. Aurangzeb named himself the Caesar of the world, Alamgir, and lived up to the title by seizing kingdom after kingdom during his 49-year reign. Even during this lifetime, Aurangzeb captured imaginations across the world. In 1675, John Dryden, then poet laureate of England, penned Aurangzeb, a heroic tragedy about the reigning Mughal sovereign. Meanwhile, European travelers traversed India in increasing numbers, and many sought an audience with famed Aurangzeb Alamgir. British, Dutch, Portuguese, and French traders established operations in pockets of the subcontinent and pursued trade agreements with the Mughals. From a Mughal perspective, however, Europeans were small fish. Aurangzeb, like his predecessors, was preoccupied with ruling one of the largest empires in world history, a kingdom encompassing 3.2 million square kilometers, roughly the size of modern India, and esteemed for its riches, prosperity, and religious and cultural diversity. Unlike other Mughal rulers, who have attracted significant attention from historians, Aurangzeb has been neglected over the past several decades. The task of capturing the life of this king.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?